Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA front office show. It's the trade deadline. You know what that means.
Front office trade deadline special.
Let's go. The trade deadline is here. We're at 54 minutes and counting until the trade deadline. Keith, it has been an all-time epic trade deadline already, and the clock is ticking. We'll see what other teams can get done. We've got so much to talk about, my friend, and I'm fired up. Thank you, everybody, for coming in.
Yeah.
Happy to see you all here. Make sure you guys do hit that like button.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're not done. Today's not our last day of work. We keep going all the way through. So yeah, fired up. Dentist went great. Multiple people asked. Checked out very good. I have no cavities. I'm doing well. So I'm well into my 40s with no cavities. So I'm a happy guy with that side of it.
Great news.
I did have someone say to me at like 9 this morning, "What is going on? Why has it been so boring?" What? Like, and they meant it like legitimately too. Like, I know I've interacted with the person enough that I know they weren't messing around. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, we've had a bajillion like things happen. So, I mean, yeah, I guess we need constant entertainment here. Like when someone was like, I was thinking about it today where, someone was like, I was thinking about like it's madness, which instantly takes me to 300, where the guy's like, "This is madness. This is Sparta." And he kicks him in the giant pit. So.
I did that as a call and response with a group of my students. It was way back in the day when I had like these elementary school kids, and so you imagine a bunch of like 6-year-olds, right, where we would yell in order to get their attention, "This is madness," and then all of these little voices yelling, "This is Sparta." It was
That's
great.
Amazing.
It was so awesome.
Let's pause real quick for two quick things, and then we are going to get going crazy into all the great stuff. Congratulations to you, my friend, and the Lakers Nation YouTube channel for cracking 500,000 subscribers. 500,000, like incredible! I am so
Insane.
so proud of you, man. I know how hard you work, how much effort and time and everything you put into that, the drive to get there. I mean, that is absolutely, what an accomplishment. So, happy for you guys.
Well, thank you, my friend. Yeah, it still doesn't seem real. I can't believe it. I stop and think about, when we started really pivoting towards YouTube and doing that kind of stuff and all the work that I've been putting in over there and we have been putting in over there. Yeah, it's unreal. Feels great to finally hit that number and still growing. So, man, hard work pays off. Hard work pays off. Definitely working hard, but it's been a labor of love, and so lucky to get to do what I do. That's for sure.
So happy. So that's the other thing I wanted to just know very quickly on the whole happy to get to do what we do. 5 years ago to the day, I put in my 2-week notice at Disney. After 20 years, I decided I'm going to do basketball.
And then the world stopped.
5 years ago to the day. World stopped about 3 weeks-ish later or so, after I actually stopped working. It was about 5 weeks after that. But yeah, 5 years of doing just this has been really incredible. So yeah, I'm so thankful for everybody, front office show, your support. I do a lot of work with Spot Track and all that, but if I didn't have this as well, I'd have to be doing something else, in addition. And this is just great. And, it's amazing. A couple people are asking what I did at Disney. We'll talk about that later. We've got too many other things going on today.
We'll have some unscheduled nonsense someday.
Exactly. And yeah. Maybe tomorrow, even if we're not dealing with too much fallout there. But yeah, it's big day, man. Where do we want to start?
Let's go into this Cavs trade that just happened.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So the Cavs, I think, Keith, this is the Cavs loading up and trying to get ready to probably see your Celtics in the East Finals. The Cavs pick up DeAndre Hunter from the Hawks, and the Hawks get Karis LeVert, George Niang, some second-round picks, and a couple of swaps. I like the value from the Cavs. I mean, not giving up a full first, just giving up swaps and some seconds. And I like the addition of DeAndre Hunter as kind of a 3-and-D guy, another player to throw at Tatum, another player to throw at Jaylen Brown. Losing Karis LeVert does hurt a little bit just because of his creation, but come playoff time, I think the ball is going to be in the hands of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland most of the time anyway. So I like this move for the Cavs. I think the East is different than the West in that the Cavs can solely set their sights right now on the Celtics and vice versa. The West is a little bit more everybody kind of just firing at everybody. But I think this is a great move for Cleveland and the kind of move that they needed to make to try to give themselves a leg up, because I do think it's going to be a hellacious playoff battle between those two.
Yeah, there a couple pieces on this for the Cavs. They've got to figure out now a third ball handler here. Ty Jerome he's in that mix. He's a rotation guy, but he plays a lot off ball. Karis LeVert really is the third ball handler has been the third ball handler behind Mitchell and Garland. So you have that. And then George Niang is not just a toss into this deal. He was the Cavs' third big behind Allen and Mobley. He was the guy who stepped in there whenever one of those two were off the court. So that's another thing they'll have to figure out. But here's a crucial thing with this trade too. Cavs got under the tax with this. They got under the tax. Why is that important? Not real important for this year, but it's important moving forward, because with DeAndre Hunter in the fold, Mobley's extension kicks in. They are going to be wildly expensive next year. So dodging the tax this year allows just pauses. Now, nothing starts on those tax clocks and all that repeater stuff and everything. Makes it really tough. So they're in a very, very interesting spot, moving forward. But yeah, this is an all-in move, and this is great to see a team that is basically saying, we're not afraid. Let's go. Like, we've been the best team in the East all season. Let's go, make this happen. And I got to wonder if Boston really kind of taking care of them in Cleveland the other night with relative ease, if that was like, we have to do something. We're not there, on that level right now.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And a lot of the chat saying the disrespect to the Knicks. Look, I like the Knicks. They're a good team.
Been on the Knicks all year.
Yeah, I was like the biggest Knicks fan last summer, but no, I like the Knicks a lot. I just think the truth is there's a top tier in the East. It's the Cavs and the Celtics, and the Knicks are in one tier below. Could the Knicks move up a tier? Potentially. They might be able to get into that mix, but right now it's the Cavs, it's the Celtics. Those are the top two. And honestly, I think whichever of those two teams gets to avoid the Knicks in the playoffs will have a little bit of an advantage. What in theory avoids them in the second round will have a little bit of advantage, because I'd rather see the Pacers. Right, the Pacers have been playing better ball lately, but I'd rather see the Pacers. I'd rather see the Bucks or any of those teams. That's not the Knicks. But I don't have the Knicks on the same level as Boston or Cleveland, just based on what we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, I think that's all fair. I'm with you. I think it's Celtics and Cavs on a tier, and the Knicks just one tier below. And I do think they're by themselves in that tier. I don't think the Pacers and the Bucks have done enough to help themselves. And then everybody else as we go behind that. Let's flip to the Hawks side of this trade, because a lot of people are like, what are the Hawks doing? Well, keep the standings up. You see what they're doing. They're not playing well. They've had Jalen Johnson's out for the season. This is Atlanta being very realistic of, we need to reset a little bit here. Our guys moving forward are Trae Young, Zach Ricochet, and Jalen Johnson. And where does Hunter really fit in that mix? He had been their sixth man all season. So we'll just kind of see, where it all comes together with that. But yeah, it's going to be, pretty interesting to, watch how they, move forward. Clint Capella's still there. Bogdan Bogdanovic still there with 45 minutes to go. So let's see, where that ends up. Bogdanovic was rumored, and I heard this morning that they had deals in place for him. So maybe that's, where they're going to go, but
could be more coming.
Let's see what happens, with that. We got, like I said, 45 minutes to go. So we'll see, but yeah, I mean, Atlanta is a chance to reset, pick up some assets moving forward. Niang will be helpful. Karis LeVert will actually be helpful for them. They need another on-ball creator to replace what they lost in Jalen Johnson. So I don't think this is a massive loss for them, even if they traded the best player in the deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that on the Hawks front. And you do restock some second round draft capital. The pick swaps, maybe it ends up mattering, maybe it doesn't. I mean, it will. I
Sure.
don't know if we know what year those pick swaps are
Yeah, I
in.
haven't seen that come out yet.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, the only way it matters is if the Hawks are better than the Cavs, assuming those
Yep.
are Cavs picks that they traded. I don't know what they had available to them to trade, but
Yeah,
um,
the Cavs did well. Remember, the Cavs only really have swaps left because
that's
everything
right.
else was given up in the Donovan Mitchell trade. So,
That's right.
yeah, I mean they're gonna have to figure it out, right? A little bit here with this. So I think it'll be you know they they've got some rebalancing to do a little, especially they got to get another big in the mix. I don't think you can be in a spot to just have Allen and Mobley. You need one more guy right now. Their
Mhm.
third big is Tristan Thompson, and that's probably not really where you want to be.
Right. So what potentially more moves here to be made by the Cavs. Pure hypothetical, trying to understand the rules. DeAndre Hunter can't be aggregated, but the trade technically isn't done. Could the Cavs have the Hawks trade him elsewhere to combine more, like make a push for KD? I
They can't
mean,
combine Hunter's salary. Hunter's salary only works for them if they have Hunter. In
right,
this type of theoretical move, the Hawks would be the ones aggregating Hunter, not the Cavs. So
right,
the Cavs would still need to get another thing in there. So
right. They'd have to send out
tricky.
enough salary to get
Yep.
KD themselves.
Yep. Did you see Shams said though they are like teams are still calling on KD.
Yeah,
Like they
I
have
saw
not
that.
given up on that. So I mean,
Which they probably
stranger
should
things
keep
have
calling.
happened
You
in the
never know.
last hour before the deadline. Let's pause real quick just to kind of set the stage here because I know 99% of the people watching this probably understand, but there's always new people who
Yeah.
this is their first run through with this. Trade deadline is at 3 p.m. Eastern, so about 42 minutes from now. How it works is all deals have to be agreed to and in the queue with the NBA for the trade call. What that process in the trade call is all the teams that are involved in the trade get on a call with the NBA and representatives. And the first thing they check is the trade legal? Right. It doesn't meet all the rules that it needs to meet. And then the next thing is everybody has to agree we're all signing off on medicals or we're all saying this is pending physicals to be done. But here's the important note. If let's say you pop into that trade call and the NBA says your trade's not legal because you violated a rule or whatever it is, you cannot rework it. You get kicked out, trade's done, and it's canceled. That very, very, very rarely happens.
Mm-hmm.
Teams are very good about making sure that their stuff in place with this. And you have to have you can't be, we'll figure that out after on waiving. You have to have all that lined up when you do those trade calls. Those trade calls take a very long time. So you're going to see some of these deals. It's going to be very late into the evening tonight, maybe even into the early hours tomorrow morning before you see the team's tweet. You'll know a deal's official and done and approved by the NBA when the team tweets about it. Right. That's the easiest way to know. But here's why this matters to us. At 3:15, we could still get details about deals leaking out by reporters because they just haven't. It hasn't processed yet. It's still in the trade queue. So that's just kind of setting up, a little bit here for people to know, where things are going over the course of the rest of the day today.
The other thing that you'll often see too is right around the deadline, you'll see reporters from specific teams will put out, the Hawks are done trading. They're going to move forward with their roster as is, or something like that, to confirm that there's nothing else coming.
Yeah, and we'll also get a sometimes too, like Kevin Durant, for example. I'm guessing one of the big reporters, whether it's Shams or that might even be like a Brian Windhorst kind of thing, where it is the Suns are keeping Kevin Durant. They will not be trading him, at this trade deadline. And that'll come out at like 3:05 or maybe even like 2:55 or something like that.
Kevin says, how are we going to build around LeBron when Luka retires? LeBron is eternal, apparently. Does Rob Pelinka have both the best and worst trade in NBA history? I mean, I think you've got to see Luka on the floor before we start calling that the best trade in NBA history, right? Like you got to see them out there. The worst trade, I mean, it's one of the worst, certainly. But I mean, there have been some,
it's not good.
especially when you start digging back into history. But the Russ trade, certainly one of the worst. But I'd hesitate to call it the absolute worst.
Hit that breaking news drop.
I shall indeed. Here we go.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Not horrifying, I guess, unless you're maybe no, it shouldn't be horrifying for anybody.
No.
The LA Clippers are trading Terrence Mann and Bones Highland to the Atlanta Hawks for Bogdan Bogdanovic and 3 second-round picks. Not entirely sure why the Hawks are giving up.
Why are the Hawks the team putting in picks?
Yeah. My guess is it's Atlanta. The Hawks must really want Terrence Mann. And they're probably like, we're getting off Bogdanovic, who's older. He's had some injuries recently. So that would be my guess. Is there, maybe that's why they're paying the value, because it's certainly not for Bones Highland. But yeah, so really, Mann for Bogdanovic, not bad. That's okay. I don't mind that swap. Again, they need more on-ball guys in Atlanta, and Terrence Mann helps there. Hawks are already below the apron, no issue for the Hawks with that one. So they should be fine, with this. I think they're okay, in this move. So all right, we'll see.
Are you surprised you've got the Hawks on one hand, moving off of long-term salary with DeAndre Hunter, and now you're picking up long-term salary with Terrence Mann, but younger than Bogdanovic, and Bogdanovic has had a terrible season shooting the ball. So for the really Clippers, this is belief that he will bounce back and the shooting numbers will come back. And then how much of the defensive identity is sacrificed, if any, with Terrence Mann on the way out?
Yeah, I think this is probably more of a vote of confidence of Kawhi's here, and probably a very full recognition of, if Kawhi isn't there in the playoffs, it doesn't really matter anyway. We're going to have been a fun regular season team that gets bombed out. But you have Derek Jones Jr., you have Amir Coffey. Amir Coffey has played really well. I would keep an eye on Amir Coffey getting extended in the next, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks here. I think there is a good chance we see that happen. That's how well he's played for the Clippers. So, yeah, I mean, we're just now in a spot where this is trade some depth. Terrence Mann, when Kawhi came back, he had kind of fallen out of the rotation. He wasn't in there because he'd been surpassed by Coffey, and Chris Dunn kind of took on his role. So now you get in Bogdanovic, who gives them another shooter, in theory, if he can rediscover his shot. And I like that because they need a little bit more offensive juice. The Clippers do. They have way too many games where it all goes south, especially when they go to the bench units.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is, I do like the Clippers adding the second round draft capital they get in this too. They clear some future salary. Not a bad move. Not a bad move for them, I think. By the way, everybody, we've got a lot of people in here right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button.
Yes,
get a like spike going.
Yeah, like spike. Let's go. I will say too, Hawks have a couple other moves, right? These are 2-for-1 trades, so they're going to have to do some work. But Cody Zeller is still on the Hawks, and that was Cody Zeller has been on, I presume, his couch or the beach or wherever. He certainly hasn't been in Atlanta with the Hawks since he was traded. He was a throw-in to make the DeJounte Murray salary math work over the summertime. No guaranteed money beyond this year. So unless he gets randomly thrown into another trade, he's going to be waived to help facilitate these moves.
Okay, well, the Hawks wheeling and dealing. Maybe more to come here.
Busy late too.
Yeah, right. This has been this has been an awesome trade deadline in general. There's so much going on.
Incredible. Yeah, it's like I was looking at the absolute wreckage of my own personal cap sheets, like just destroyed. Like it's going to take me hours to get those updated, but we're on Spot Track. We're updating it about as quick as we can. So yeah.
Congrats on 500,000 subs, Proud Mod. We thank you for your services over there, Mama Mentality, for acting as a mod for our chat there.
Trevor,
Appreciate
when I read that, when I saw it came in,
you thought it's a Proud Mom.
I thought it said congrats LN on 500K, son, Proud Mom, and I was like, oh, Trevor's mom's in here. I was like, that's so sweet. But then I was like, oh, you misread that.
Well, then the username would have been Mamba
Yeah,
mentality.
there you go. Yeah, could be. Yeah, I was like, oh, Trevor's mom came. I was like, I don't. My dad watches sometimes, but I don't know that my mom knows how to get to YouTube.
I was talking about it last night. I did a skit a few days ago, and my mom watches the show and sent me a text about how she didn't like the language that I was using. Can Maxi be straightened and waved, like stretched and waved to get under the first apron? That would not get them under the first apron. That wouldn't be enough if they waved and stretched him. That it wouldn't be enough of a drop off. So, Keith, I've had a lot of Lakers fans asking me this. I don't remember. Does anybody even have enough cap space to absorb Maxi?
He could go into teams that have tax space if they have their like non-taxpayer MLE. Yeah, because his contract fits
Lakers
in there.
fans say waive or get Maxi off the books and then sign Dennis Schroeder when he gets bought out. A lot of Lakers fans saying that.
Sure, I mean, and I understand the mentality behind that and the idea there. I don't know that I would, because you're not to move Maxi Kleber. You're gonna have to give up another asset to get a team to eat his contract, because nobody's just going to do it out of the goodness of their heart. And because he's hurt and he's older and he has money in the next year, that starts to get real messy. I think you're probably just going to see that through. I will say this too. Maxi Kleber and Luka are pretty close. Like they've been guys who have formed a pretty good bond. So I don't know that as you try to incorporate Luka, it's going to be, hey, let's just pull another one of his guys away from him when he's already, having to figure a lot out here on the fly.
Yeah. All right, let's go here. Happy 5 years, Keith. Happy 500,000, Trev and LN. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's see, Keith. This is something that obviously is very Lakers specific, but the Lakers declined to wear their City Edition jerseys the last time they were scheduled to do so because there is a belief that they are, for lack of a better term, cursed.
Was that was the Boston game, right? Was it? Or am I wrong?
Oh, that was the Knicks game. The Knicks game. The Lakers Knicks. They were scheduled to wear them, and a few hours before the game, the players said, "Nope, not doing it. We're not wearing these damn things." What happens here? Like, they're supposed to wear them again tonight. Can they just opt out on wearing them for the remainder of the season?
I don't know exactly on this, so somebody in
the league officers would have to decide.
But yeah, there are rules on how often they're supposed to wear each set of jerseys, because what the whole reason they put them in was not to introduce a jersey that gets worn once and fans go and buy it and then it never gets worn again. So, but yeah, I don't know. And I'm a jersey snob and traditionalist anyway. I like for the Lakers, I like the traditional yellow, the traditional purple, and I like the Sunday whites. I think those are super sharp. They've had a couple versions of the black alternate ones that have been kind of okay, like the one you have hanging up. I think that one's all right.
That's not kind of okay. That is uniform perfection right there.
I do like that one. But in case anybody thinks I'm picking on the Lakers, I only like the Celtics in their green or their white, and I only like them in their green on the road and their white at home. Although the black and green those have won me over. But whatever the nonsense, ridiculous thing they're wearing, like I'm out on that thing. Somebody says purple and gold. Well, now I'm going to be the snob and correct you.
For blue and gold, right?
So whatever the hell those colors are. So
yeah, this is so. I'm with you when it comes to jerseys, uniforms, whatever you want to call them. I'm the same way. I prefer give me a road, give me road and home. I don't want to hear like statement and association. I don't even know what those are. Like it's the road.
I can't keep
it's the home. It's don't give me all of this other stuff. You want to throw in one kind of alternate jersey each year, fine. I wouldn't mind going back to the Christmas Day jerseys, but in general, give me one alternate. But I don't know. As far as the team being able to decide, like, that's probably going to tank the sales of that jersey if they just don't wear it anymore. But guess what? Fans, if you're actually a fan of the team, nobody's buying that jersey right now. Nobody's buying that because there's a belief that thing is cursed. Besides, everybody's buying Luka jerseys now, so they're not buying that one.
I hear you. Let's go to the big trade from last night, the Brandon Ingram trade.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because we haven't talked about it yet on here. So Brandon Ingram to the Toronto Raptors. The guys going back to the Pelicans are Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk. We'll see if Bruce Brown sticks. Could be a buyout candidate. A bunch of people have asked about buyouts. We're not going to spend a ton of time on that unless actual news breaks. But shortly after the deadline, you're going to see a piece post on Spot Track where I have a whole bunch of stuff all about buyouts and why the buyout market's a little weird now, and what's going on, and guys to keep an eye on for buyouts. So that's your buyout piece there. But yeah, I mean, Raptors 4th trade deadline in a row. They've acquired a player going into his walk year in free agency, and then they kept all of those guys. So kind of just a little interesting note there.
So Keith, to me, a big part of this deal is gonna be determined. We're not gonna know the true value of this deal until we know what did the Raptors pay Brandon Ingram. The word out there is he wants $50 million a year. We talk about a lot that it's the years and not necessarily the dollar amount. What if they give Brandon Ingram 4 years, $200 million? I think that hurts. That hurts the value of this trade specifically for the Raptors. But if it's a 2-year deal, 2 years, 95, something like that, where do you see the sweet spot being for Brandon Ingram's deal, assuming the Raptors did this trade to keep him for the near future here?
Yeah, somewhere in like the 160 range, like 40 million average annual value.
Mm-hmm.
I think makes a lot of sense for Brandon Ingram and what he is. I think that also makes sense for the Raptors kind of cap sheet. I think that is a spot where you can go. And that's a little bit of not a max, but still a very healthy payday for a guy who has missed a lot of time, over the, last several years, really since he's been in New Orleans. He's had, I think, one fully healthy season with the Pelicans. So that's something you have to be very cautious of. So you could also do a bigger deal for terms of overall money. But if you did that, I would want some team protection on that, either a team option, non-guaranteed money at the end, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So so when people are rushing to judge this, I think a lot of it is going to depend on what happens on that deal, because as we've talked about, the Bulls had a really hard time moving Zach LaVine for a while until they finally did to the Kings, and it took Zach LaVine having an incredible season this year. He's been phenomenal, but the sense was Zach is getting paid like a 1A guy, but he's more of like a third guy on a team, and that's kind of the space that Brandon Ingram sits in, where he's probably at best as like the third guy. If he's your second best player, you probably don't like your chances so much. And so under the new CBA, it's hard to pay a third guy that max money. So where that money comes in for Brandon Ingram, I think is going to be critical here. But then I think also big picture, Keith, this is also a sign that the Raptors, they want this downturn, this tanking season to be a short-lived thing and to be right back in the mix next season.
100%. Yeah, they are trying to, in effect, shortcut the rebuilding process a little bit. The Raptors know they're getting a good pick this year. So it's going to be a combination of Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, Emmanuel Quickley. Just that's probably a playoff team in the East.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we're being completely honest, that's probably just a playoff team in the East just with that. Then you've got a bunch of interesting young kids on the bench. You're gonna get another good high draft pick this year, and you're gonna go with that. So yeah, I think I think they're okay to do this. I don't think we're in for a long haul rebuild, not just because of the other guys that were already on that roster. They would have really had to reset there. So.
And is this for the Pels, is this just, hey, we got something. We didn't lose them for nothing. You get I believe this is the Indiana first, isn't it?
It is.
And so you're getting a mid round for a mid first round
Indiana's
pick.
First next year though. So
is it next year?
Yeah, because they gave them their first this past year. So the Pacers are stuck by the stepping rule, I think.
Okay.
Let me double check that.
So even if
it's 1 through 4 protected too,
which is not.
The Pacers probably aren't going to be that
right.
bad. So, you get a first for Brandon Ingram, couple seconds. Let's see what they do with Brown and Olynyk moving forward. Bruce Brown, one reason why he might not definitely be bought out is they could use his bird rights. Not that he's going to get another $20+ million contract. They could use his bird rights as part of a sign and trade next year to try to fill up their roster a little bit. The Pelicans, I can tell you with all certainty, they are not looking to be like what they are this year again, even though DeJounte Murray is out for probably half or more of next season. They're trying to really turn around and bounce back. And that's part of why they got Kelly Olynyk, front court depth. He'll be on an expiring contract. They could trade him and kind of go from there.
We've talked a lot about the Pelicans maybe moving on from CJ McCollum. Does the injury to DeJounte Murray, which was absolutely terrible, does that make it more likely that CJ just stays in New Orleans into next season?
I really don't know. I mean, I would kind of hope not, right? Like I think you have to treat those as almost independent things. And it would depend, can you get another point guard, right? There are a lot of point guards available right now, especially get by point guards that just plug the guy in and go. There's also going to be some guards in the draft, and they're going to have a high draft pick. So you could be in position to draft somebody, but yeah, we'll see with that. I don't think he's going anywhere for other reasons. So I think the Pelicans let's make the best of it and see. They started a super huge lineup last night, which was kind of fun for them, in their game. And I think you're going to see them do a whole bunch of goofy stuff over the next little bit, just trying things. And a lot of what we'll decide their point guard spot is, can we throw it into Zion and let him run the offense a lot? Can we run Trey Murphy a little bit more with the ball in his hands? That's what the rest of the season's for with that. But yeah, people are absolutely right. CJ Muscular sticking around in New Orleans.
CJ Muscular, that's right. I need to make a drop for that.
We hold on. This guy said, Big Earn McCracken, can we start the show off with a hell yeah, brother, slapped into a Slim Jim? Awesome deadline. Keep up the great work, fellas. We appreciate you. We didn't start the show with it, but I did see that sitting in there.
That's a good one. I like it. Let's go. Oh, Jonesy said, I think the Pelinka phone call helped put you over the top. Great work, Trav. Love listening to Keith, one of the smartest guys on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Hey, appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate it. I do have some fun little chats with Rob. For some reason, he's often at Disneyland. I don't know why, but
I heard that's why they made the Mark Williams trade last night, because he had fast passes for Matterhorn at noon today.
I had to tell him. I said, man, you can't go back to Disneyland till Friday. You have to wait till after the trade deadline. Then you can go back to Disney. He wanted to go. He waited on calling in to the NBA the Luka trade because he was in line for Rise of the Resistance, which
that's tough.
Which I get it. You don't want to get out of line. That's a long line.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah. Clippers now too, just to kind of put the ball in that talk there. They're now in line to completely miss the tax, which per my guy Scott at Spot Track, $370 million is what they've paid in tax bills over the last 4 seasons. So, I mean, no one feels bad for Steve Ballmer because he's like, okay, cool.
I was going to say, to Steve Ballmer, that's like a gnat bit him on the arm, and he's just like,
it's whatever. Like if I dropped a $10 bill on the ground, I'd be panicked. And he's like, it's okay. But it's, I mean, that's just, bonkers stuff that now they're gonna reset. Ooh, what do we got? No, here, do not play the drop.
Yeah, this is not.
Cody Zeller going to Houston. Back to the Rockets. So the Rockets are getting their second round pick for eating Cody Zeller's contract. That'll very likely be rolled into that trade, one of those 2 trades, and that'll end up probably a third team trade. So
I wonder what the count is at now, Keith. How many trades we've had?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. What we're gonna do, we'll do it probably later tonight or tomorrow. When all these kind of come together and we see what the final structures are, we'll total it all up on Spot Track and put a post up of how many trades there were, how many players, how much money was moved around, how many draft picks. We'll have all that. We're not playing the drop, guys.
not for that one. The drop has to be reserved for some bigger news. Kevin said, with the West getting stronger, where does the NBA stand on divisions? Any chance we see a 1 through 30 ranking with some type of wild card for the playoffs? if they were to do something like that, it wouldn't be until after I think they introduce a couple of new teams when we get into expansion. That would be the time to, maybe redraw some of the boundaries. There's been talk about, do you have one, say, of Minnesota, New Orleans, Memphis? Does one of those teams move east when you bring in theoretically Seattle and Las Vegas? That's really when a discussion like that would be had. For the time being, they're not going to be making those kind of changes.
You got to also remember, to do something like that, the NBA needs to get it passed by, I believe it's a 3/4 majority. And why would the East owners ever vote for that right now?
Yeah.
They would say, they would kill it, and that's why it wouldn't pass. So it would really be that would be when the league expands, if they're like, we are completely redoing the structure of the league as far as divisions, conferences, schedule, all of that. That should be how it goes. And that'd be good. All right, Omari Sankofa, my guy, over what covers the Pistons, is reporting Dennis Schroeder is going to get routed to the Pistons. So that's going to be how that's going to be how the somebody, I don't, at this point he may not even actually go to the Jazz anymore, but it sounds like Dennis Schroeder to the Pistons. Good on Omari, man. Omari he might be one of the nicest dudes around. Like, does a tremendous job covering a team that has not always been easy to cover the last couple of years, but he's great. I love Omari.
For a guy who was complaining about the NBA trade system, Dennis Schroeder sure is getting traded a lot.
Yeah. He called it modern day slavery, I think.
He did.
He did. He's not wrong, but Dennis Schroeder also is getting $13 million. I don't know how many slaves were getting $13 million. Exactly. I'll leave that to when Keith and Trevor discuss history.
We'll have time for that one in August. Yeah. All right, let's go. 48. Let's go here. Chris said, Trev, congrats on 500K. Appreciate the hard work. Let's turn Keith into a Laker fan too. He would have to work for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Is KD to the Nuggets, Ingram to the Clippers a possibility still?
No, Ingram to the Clippers. No, that's done. He's going to the Raptors. KD to the Nuggets. I mean, boy, that'd be you'd have to do some salary cap gymnastics to make that one happen. It's 2 second apron teams, but I mean, the fit would be KD and Jokic. Like, I just get super excited about something that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, right. Like that would be crazy. Michael said your winners and losers in this trade. That we'll do that after. That will be a show that we'll do after.
We'll probably talk a little bit of that tomorrow. When we do the show, or later. But yeah.
All right, so let's go here. Is a Lakers second enough to get Day'Ron Sharpe? I've heard yes. We'll see, though. And I don't know if now that they made the move for Mark Williams, I don't know if that's what they're going to do. And then get Torrey Craig. Yeah, I mean, the Lakers now have an open roster spot. We'll see what they do with it. They may hold it for the buyout market. They may pick up a free agent. Maybe they absorb an extra player in a trade in the next, 17 minutes now?
17 minutes, yep.
The countdown's on.
There's a lot of stuff flying around. It doesn't seem to be confirmed. Maybe Chris Boucher to the Nuggets. Now Chris Haynes is reporting the Dennis Schroeder to the Pistons thing. So good on Omari for being all over that. Love it for him.
Marcus said, heard your birthday is tomorrow, Trev.
I think it's supposed to be I'm in a nuclear
plant with no service. So
Homer Simpson?
Yeah. Dope. Well, thank you.
Don't pull a Homer. Do you remember that? Pull a Homer and Magic
Homer. Yep. When he was on the floor and he went for the Lakers and Magic Johnson was out there and he slips and the ball goes flying into the basket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
That was an old one.
Yeah.
Kids, I'm so glad. I was so glad when I saw on the calendar that my birthday was the day after the trade deadline.
Yeah, I bet.
Like get to relax a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'm going to make you work tomorrow for Front Office Friday.
Oh, I'm sure. We're still going to have stuff to do.
That's my present to you, actually.
Yeah, that's not.
What do we think about Dennis Schroeder to the Pistons? I like that. They need.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Jaden Ivey, that's a really good pickup for them. That's a good use of their cap space. Because people may want, like, does this take the KJ Martin trade off the table? What about they're supposed to eat a couple deals in trades? In that the part of the Jimmy Butler trade doesn't change any of that stuff. They can still so what they'll do is they've got $14 million in cap space. Schroeder's 13 million will eat up most of that, barring the Pistons jumping in and sending something out. But that's where that'll go to. Then KJ Martin will go into the room exception because his contract fits in there. And then Waters and Josh Richardson, assuming they're still going to Detroit, they'll go there via the minimum exception because those guys are both on minimum contracts. So this is why I kept telling people, don't these deals aren't done yet. They're still working in Detroit because they have that cap space is going to be working to make that happen. So,
yeah. And that's why you couldn't finalize everything on your end there.
Correct. Yeah. Cause we didn't want to move KJ Martin into the, sorry, I'm just looking.
Sean's just reported the Dennis Schroeder thing.
And then Chris Haynes says the Pistons are going to keep Dennis Schroeder, which makes sense. Yeah, there was a report on Jaden Ivey, though. Sounds like he's progressing. But it was where they're going to give another update, and I think they said 4 weeks. So important to know, Dennis. Now I'm on Dennis Schroeder. Jaden Ivey, they don't have they didn't even apply, as far as I know, for a disabled player exception because they think he's coming back. They are not ruling him out for the year, which would be, incredible considering how gross that injury looked. Right. If he could get back this year, that would be awesome. That'd be amazing.
For a team that, especially the Pistons, that is, going to be making their first foray into the postseason, maybe as a, playoff team, not even a play-in team. And that's where they sit right now. When we look at Detroit, they're sitting in the 6th seed. And you look, I know they've got Miami, right behind it, but they're right there, right there. They're the 6th seed right now. Adding a veteran like Schroeder, who's been through the playoffs, who has been in the NBA for years and years, been a professional, competed at the highest levels for Germany. This is, I think, I mean, I'm making a pun here unintentionally, but a shrewd move, I think, by the Pistons.
I do not believe for a second that was unintentional. I have known you and worked with you for too long.
I'm getting called out on my own show. Yeah, I think you're right. Probably. My brain landed on Schroed, and then I made the Schroeder connect. Anyway.
But no, that is a good move.
I think it's a good move for a team that doesn't have a lot of postseason experience. As a group, as a core, you've got a few guys on the team that do, but adding Schroeder, who does have that playoff tested, he's been there, he's done that type of thing. That is probably a solid element to this beyond just getting what Schroeder provides on the floor. That veteran experience, I think, matters as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's important. Just a couple bookkeeping things. My guy Scott is feeding me stuff as he processes things. Atlanta will be back under the tax, which they weren't going to pay the tax, so that's part of why Cody Zeller is being traded versus simply waived with that. So but on this Pistons one, I think solid moves by the Pistons. And now, I don't think you're going to make real noise in the playoffs, but let's go.
No.
I say this all the time about the Pistons. They have not won a single playoff game since 2008. Not a series, a game. They've not won a single games, in what is that, 17 years going on this year. So let's get back there, get a game, and start, really keeping this thing moving forward.
You get that experience. Get that experience in the postseason. Mamadou said, "Did Reggie Jackson get traded?" I saw something this morning about him maybe getting waived. What was going on?
Got traded to the Wizards, and then he's very likely probably going to get waived.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a move for the so a little bit of an interesting move. The Sixers traded him again. More flexibility for them on the cap sheet as they continue to move further under the tax. What they brought back was Jared Butler, who's on a 2-way contract, which is kind of interesting. Sixers too, very, very, very likely they're going to convert 2-way player Justin Edwards to a standard deal. They want him long-term signed there. It'll only be a 2-year deal because that's the best they can do. So what you're very likely to see with him is he gets signed a 2-year contract with the team option on the second year. So they can decline that and then make him a restricted free agent. Justin Edwards was a guy, myself, Bryce, our buddy, we had him pegged as a first rounder. He ended up going in the middle of the second round and on a 2-way contract. And now he's starting for the Sixers. Now, starting for the Sixers doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot with all the injuries they've had, but he has taken advantage and played really, really well. So we're just keep an eye on that. I think we'll see that happen.
Yeah, that Keith, apparently Bob Myers just said on ESPN TV that the Grizzlies were in on a Kevin Durant trade and tried to get something done there. And then KD said no, he didn't want to go to Memphis. Why does everyone hate Memphis? First Jimmy Butler and now Kevin Durant. KD would have been an interesting fit with the Grizz.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been incredible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been all kinds of fired up if that had happened for them. I don't like why do these guys what do they have against Memphis?
Yeah, what's wrong with Memphis? Come on.
Yeah. I don't know. Weird, right? But I mean, I guess my guess is what Kevin Durant wants to do is play it out this year and then try to control where he goes a little bit more in the summertime. I don't think Kevin Durant's going to be on the Suns next season. I feel fairly.
You think he moves this summer?
Yeah, I think he's going to force a trade this summer to another team.
And he has more control this summer when he can say, "I won't resign with you the next summer." And all that.
And he'll be able to pull the whole. He doesn't have a no trade clause, but like, I'm not going to that team because I won't re-sign with them. So don't trade for me.
Exactly.
And then it's up to a team to kind of call his bluff or not if they want to. So right, and Memphis could have done that here, presumably. They could have done that. So we'll see. So
let's go here. D-Rock said the Nets inactivity kind of stinks. Kuminga may become our summer target. Marks is yet to prioritize rebounding, and Kuminga is a perfect fit. Bad plan. Well, I think that the Nets have been, so they already made their moves, right? They moved Schroeder, they moved Dorian Finney-Smith, but they were telling everybody, no, for Cam Johnson, for all these other guys, we're not going to come off of our asking price like we did with DFS, like we did with Schroeder. You're going to have to give us what we want. And that's where they've set the line. And I think all along teams have been thinking, well, they said that about Schroeder too, and they took seconds for him. They took seconds for Dorian Finney-Smith. Maybe if they're asking 2 firsts for Cam Johnson, maybe they'll take less. I think this is just the Nets recognize that they don't have to make a move right now. And if teams aren't going to meet their asking price, well, maybe it just sets up some conversations for the summer. So yeah, I don't necessarily like everybody wants to see their team make moves, right? Every fan wants to see that happen. But for the Nets, in the Nets situation, they really can lean into, hey, we don't have to do anything. We don't have any, significant urgency to do something. So if you want to meet our price, great. And if not, we'll talk again over the summer. We're losing plenty of games as it is right now. What the exception of like D'Angelo Russell won that game for them the other day. But I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing because I also don't know if the Nets want to continue to develop a reputation as a team that consistently drops their asking price and will take far less in their trades.
Yeah, they're better off hanging on to Cam Johnson and Day'Ron Sharpe, Nick Claxton, anybody else on the roster than taking a bad deal. It's just smarter to do that for them. I think that Kuminga is definitely somebody I would keep an eye on. The Warriors are going to be super duper expensive again now with Jimmy Butler in the fold on a max extension next year. So we're in a spot where the Warriors may be pressed to keep Jonathan Kuminga if the Nets say, hey, you know what? We are comfortable with giving him a max offer sheet at the 30% of the cap max. Let's move forward with actually that would only be the 25% because he hasn't even hit the 30% marker. So 25% of the cap max. Let's go. Let's see what it looks like. Some of that'll probably depend on where their draft position is as well. What do they do in the draft? Because if they pick Ace Bailey or maybe Cooper Flagg, they may look at it and say, I'm not really is the fit there with Jonathan Kuminga. That is the one benefit of the draft before the free agency. Most people would prefer it to be the other way around, but you can at least, if we're building around this guy, maybe we don't want there, but I'm okay with that. I think that is a really smart target for the Nets to make if they don't have other plans with their cap space. A couple people were reporting here in the chat, and I've seen it came through. Jake Fisher says KJ Martin and Josh Richardson will be on the move to the Jazz. So that's the Jazz are playing facilitator again. Danny Ainge is going to walk out of this thing, and him and Sam Presti are going to meet up in Las Vegas and just compare
and cackle over their picks.
Yeah, by the end of the week. 5 minutes. We're into 5 minutes.
5 minutes and counting. I
Yeah.
feel like I could be wrong here. Maybe we get fireworks, but I feel like the big moves have happened.
Oh, well, here. This
Oh,
is maybe big-ish. I don't really
okay.
know.
I'll hit the button.
Yeah.
I'll hit the button.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
The
All right.
Grizzlies
Marcus
are trading
Smart.
Marcus Smart and a 2025 first-round pick to the Washington Wizards in a multi-team trade that sends 2 second-round picks to Memphis. We got to see what the rest of that multi-team.
Yeah. What else are
part
they
of this
getting?
is. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Interesting enough, Marcus Smart almost went to the Wizards last year when the Celtics got Kristaps Porzingis. That was one of the constructions talked about when that all fell apart with Malcolm Brogdon and the Clippers initially as the third team in. So let's see what the rest of this is. That'll come down here presumably any moment now.
So
This is what
this is a Marcus Smart salary dump essentially.
I mean, creates roster flexibility long term, sure, but right now, Smart is a $20 million player. Like, you can't, that's a massive, like, maybe it's, no, well, that's a
Los Angeles Clippers are trading Kevin Porter Jr. to the Milwaukee Bucks for Marjon Beauchamp.
that's a salary dump on the Bucks side. With that, one of the Clippers taking kind of a flyer on Bojan. Yeah, so let's stay with the Smart thing real quick because that other one's not as big. $20 million is you're not just dropping $20 million. Nobody has that cap space or exception to eat that. So let's see. I mean, I think maybe Malcolm Brogdon's going back to the Grizzlies. There,
That could be.
Could be. Their contracts are pretty
keeping
close.
an eye out. And here's, like we talked about, here's Ian Begley saying the Knicks are done for the day.
Yeah,
They have nothing in the works. So this is the kind of stuff that's coming out right now. By the way, 3 minutes now till the deadline.
And that's a good call. You want to follow the beat guys, for some of that stuff because you're going to see that they're going to get that direct from the front office, and sometimes that comes down simply as like I've been in locker rooms where that's happened before in the media room. We're like, hey, we're not doing anything else, and that's more of a you guys can start writing and doing your stuff that you need.
Right. By the way, the ESPN talking about Ben Simmons now as a buyout candidate with the Cavs as a potential landing spot.
Yeah, because now they're under the tax, under the aprons. Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess fine. I don't.
Right. Yeah. We're past.
It's Yeah. Good question here from moves too fast for me. Marcus DeMartian says Wizards taking on a lot of salary with Smart and Middleton. Yeah. That's $50+ million, $55 million in salary for next season alone.
Yeah.
For those two guys. So, but
what's
what the
going
Wizards
out?
are doing, man. They get a pickup.
You got another one.
Oh,
Jake LaRavia on the move.
I really like that pickup for the Kings.
I like Jake LaRavia a lot.
What are
He's
the Grizzlies
on the move
doing?
From the Grizzlies to the Kings.
Something's happening with the Grizzlies because why are we moving all this salary up?
Yeah, there's something weird going on here.
Yeah. Something is happening with the Grizzlies. Jake LaRavia has actually had a really nice season, and I like that pickup. Just important to note with Jake LaRavia, the Kings can't pay him more than the amount of his declined option. So if he pops, they're gonna want to keep him in there. Just can't pay him more than that.
I was surprised they turned down that option for Jake.
Yeah, I was too, but I think that was if we get stuck, we need to be in a spot. So, with that. So yeah, could it be Cam Johnson to the Grizzlies? Maybe.
Yes, the Grizzlies are setting up for something.
They're doing something. You're not moving that kind of salary around just to move that amount of salary.
Yeah, you're trading out Marcus Smart, but we don't know what's coming back in all of this yet. We know Marcus Smart is out and LaRavia is out, but we don't know what's coming in to Memphis.
$23.5 million going out. That's a lot of salary on the outside there.
By the way, we are now at the buzzer.
Yep, there it is.
It is. The deadline is here, and we'll see what comes through. That means there's some shots that are hanging in the air right now as the buzzer sounds. We'll see which ones find bottom.
We got the Kawhi roll, like bouncing on the rim in Philadelphia.
Yep.
So the Celtics should not trade Peyton Pritchard for Marcus Smart. That's not a thing they should do. Love Marcus Smart. We'll always love Marcus Smart, but no.
Let's see what we've got. I'm just waiting to see if there's anything else. By the way, this is an insane trade deadline. All-time great trade deadline this year.
Yeah, this is going back to when my trade deadline day experience was. So trade deadline always used to fall in New England. We have we don't get spring break. We have February vacation and April vacation. So you get two different ones. Let's see.
So the Kings are sending a 2028 second to Memphis plus Colby Jones and Alex Len to Washington.
Okay.
To acquire the Grizzlies' Jake LaRavia as part of the Marcus.
Brogdon's going to be in this, I think.
It's got to be.
I mean, maybe. James
Warriors
Wiseman
are done.
Traded to the
Warriors are done making moves. Anthony Slater says Jimmy Butler is their lone acquisition.
Pacers are trading James Wiseman and cash to the Raptors.
Oh, and Wiseman is out for the season.
Yeah, so that's just eat this contract for us so we can free a little bit more. They were very close to the tax line, and now they free up a roster spot for them. So I'll finish telling that story while we wait on the details from this Smart trade. So trade deadline always used to fall during February vacation. When I was in high school, I literally would sit in the AOL basketball chat room because how we got the news was our radio station is reporting X. Like they're reporting this because there was no social media. There's none of that. So this is the craziest that I've ever seen. Mark Stein reporting Kevin Durant remains a Phoenix Sun.
Okay. Kevin Durant stays in Phoenix.
Take that out. Yeah. I had to hear the trade deadline on the radio. Ray, you are absolutely right. The form of it, that was the way it was. So
I think I followed it on ESPN. Would do like live chats.
Yep.
And I'd follow stuff there.
Yep.
Just hitting refresh a bunch. You know what I mean? Golden State Warriors are indeed done with trades, according to Chris Haynes.
Okay. So I mean, sure. I think they've earned that with the big, big one that they did here. So still waiting on the details on this Smart trade.
I really like the LaRavia pickup for Sacramento.
I do too. Yeah, nice combo forward for them to throw in their rotation. They don't really have a guy like that, who can be just a shooter scorer type. So I like that.
Apparently, Miles Turner is not going anywhere. He just tweeted out the Survivor logo.
That is great, man. Yeah, he's been I love that. Miles Turner. John Collins didn't move again. Another trade deadline.
Oh, John Collins. John Collins is a trade deadline legend at this point.
All right, let me while we're waiting on this. Somebody asked, did you guys already talk about Kevin Porter Jr.? We did. The Bulls? No.
Nikola Vucevic will remain with the Bulls.
Okay. All right. Who had that?
That was Brett Siegel had that.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, Timberwolves doesn't look like they're doing anything that made their second apron team. They have a lot to do there that they could do. It sounds like Celtics are done as well. And the Magic, Jason Beatty covers the Magic, says Magic have made no moves ahead of Thursday's trade deadline. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's not great
with the Magic.
Yeah, I mean,
they needed to do something, didn't they?
They played really well last night. They really took it to the Kings. Franz shot well, but I mean, that is just like I don't know. That's tough. That one is tough. So.
I mean, that is tough, especially for a team that could make a push. But also, it was hard for them to analyze exactly what they've got because they've had so many injuries this year.
Yeah.
That's got to be part of it. So in net, the Grizz gave up 2 firsts to get Marcus Smart, gave up a first to get off of Marcus Smart.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I
thought when that trade went down that was the picks were going the wrong way in that.
So we're now far enough removed from that like original trade. What do we got?
Sham said the
Suns are
Suns are not moving Kevin Durant.
So that goes along with what Stein said. So yep. So we'll see. When that original trade happened, Boston was already, so everybody sees it as that's how they reworked the Kristaps Porzingis trade, which is correct. Like that is correct. But there was already a move in place. What was going to happen was Tyus Jones was not going to go to the Wizards. Tyus Jones and Marcus Smart were getting swapped in a trade before that. In the Porzingis trade, which involved the Wizards and the Clippers and Malcolm Brogdon, when that fell apart, that was when they went to a that's when they kind of reworked it there to rope that other existing deal in place. But in how we know, I mean, now I've had that confirmed multiple times from people on all sides, but how we know that was also true, you don't rework a trade that big within a couple hours, which had to happen because Porzingis had a deadline to pick up his option or not, which it would not have worked with that. So, yeah. So just a little interesting.
They were under a time crunch there.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm just trying to see that. Yeah, we apologize. We know this isn't the best podcasting, but we're following
along as everything comes out. Kaz said, I'm at school and got a snow day here in Connecticut. Best deadline I could ask for. Thanks for everything you guys do.
Perfect. Nah, man, we appreciate that. What a great time to get a snow day.
Right?
Like that is, really, really good there.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Looks like Chris Boucher will stay with the Raptors.
Okay, that's interesting. They look for an extension there now. I think we'll see an extension gets done there. So let's see. I gotta go look for something. Give me 1 second, guys.
The Nuggets will not make a move at the deadline.
All right. Okay. All right. So Trailblazers, nothing from them.
Lakers are officially done making moves.
Okay. All right. So turn to the buyout market.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then Timberwolves, Magic, and Trailblazers. 3 teams that didn't make a move. So
and that was it. Everybody else made a move.
Yep. All the other I'm sorry, Nuggets too. So
Nuggets,
Timberwolves, Magic, and Trailblazers.
Warriors made another run at Vucevic, but talks fizzled, and they couldn't agree on a construction of a trade, according to Mark Stein.
Okay.
Let's see if we got anything else here. Yep, Nuggets no move. Keith, there's always fans get frustrated when their team doesn't make a deadline move. It's always tough when you see you get that FOMO, right? You got other teams making moves around you, and you're not making moves. So those teams have some frustrated fans right now.
Yeah, and that is fair, I think. And like if you're the Timberwolves, it's fair, but you also have to be understanding of there weren't necessarily moves to be made, right? You have to be you have to know they're in a very tough spot with that. So that part is hard. The Magic you should be frustrated. Your team is good. You have real needs. You have the ability to fill them. Why not? Why didn't something happen? And then the Trailblazers. You had some tradable vets, and you're just gonna run it out with those guys. And then the Nuggets, weird. I get it if people are a little like, why did we not move Zeke Naji, Dario Saric? Like, what happened with that? But the Nuggets are pretty good, so it's not that they're perfect. They have holes, but like, I don't know that it's there. Yeah, but people are asking like, what happened in the Marcus Smart trade? We don't know yet. Yeah.
Is this just, I mean, the Grizzlies have to get something back there, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so far we just have, they're sending out Marcus Smart and Jake LaRavia.
And but I mean, the Wizards don't have the ability to just bring in that money without getting off money. So like, there's got to be something there. I will say this with that trade, I think it is you're gonna see the if it is Malcolm Brogdon going back to to the Grizzlies, which makes sense. If he goes back there, then what I think you'll see is he is an expiring contract. The Grizzlies will now create a bunch of flexibility to potentially renegotiate and extend Jaren Jackson Jr., or at least they can really, plug into a long-term deal.
Which was rumored to be their goal on a Jimmy Butler trade.
Yep. And I wrote about that for Spot Track a few weeks back, why they either, if they didn't do something like that, they needed they needed him to make All NBA so that they could pay him more because they didn't have any other way to do it. This is another path to that. So we'll see, kind of how that comes together.
All right, we've got Brandon said, "What are the Jazz doing? 15 million in cap space and making every team better, and then not trading Sexton or Collins or even Clarkson. They picked up a bunch of draft picks though, a bunch of seconds.
Yeah, the Jazz don't have cap. They're not sitting on cap space.
No,
like I don't know where that part of that message came from, but they're in a spot where I mean, I get it, Collins, Clarkson, but. All right, they picked up a bunch of guys. There's going to be other stuff coming too because sounds like they're shuffling guys out, bringing other guys in. So we'll see how that comes together.
Chris Haynes says Trae Young's future with the Hawks is becoming murky.
I mean, yeah, he's probably like, wait, why did we trade? Yeah, I mean, the Hawks now, they moved off Trae Young. You get off DeAndre Hunter, Bogdan Bogdanović. Those are your non-Jalen Johnson big contracts. So you could be in a spot where if you move Trae Young, you can really reset the entire franchise, in a big, big way. And that presumably you move Trae Young, you're going to recoup some of those draft picks you sent out. So let's see. I don't know though. We hear this a lot with Trae Young, and then we see him go out there and play great, and
and nothing really changes.
Good, so yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. We're now it's what is happening with this trade?
Yeah.
What is going on in the rest of this trade? The Wizards do not have, it's got to be Malcolm Brogdon. It's just got to be.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, just waiting on that one, it looks like.
I mean, I'm assuming it is Brogdon. I do need to jump on a few other things over for LN and for Basketball Bulletin.
Yep.
Do you want to if you have time to hang out, Keith? And
I'll hang out for a little bit until we get maybe
we get confirmation on that one.
You guys want to? I'll just do questions here as we watch and go
Q&A
from there.
with Keith.
Yeah, but I'm gonna guys. I'll probably go for another 15-ish minutes, and then I've got I don't know. I'll be done writing sometime before next trade deadline.
Sometime before, August.
The off season.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll jump out. Thank you again, everybody, for joining and hang out with Keith and throw him some questions. Another awesome trade deadline, Keith.
What a blast, man. Today was not the oh wow, great, but that's because every other day for the last week has been bonkers and nuts with that. So it'll be that is something else. So
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. Enjoy. All right, guys, we'll do some of your questions here. Through this, Jonathan Schneider, thank you. We appreciate the support here. I'm gonna skip some of these that now we know are not happening here. What do the Celtics do with their open roster spots? Do they have concerns matching up with the Cavs? I think the Cavs size is still a potential concern, but it's their front court size there. And then with their open roster spots, they'll be active. I'm going to guess at least one two-way conversion. Keep an eye on Drew Peterson. Potentially is the two-way conversion there. And then I think the other will be, they'll see if a veteran shakes loose that they can sign. Trevor Lane to the Celtics for Keith Smith. No, we're not going that way. We both have no trade clauses in that respect. Thank you, Jimmy Joe Jerkic, for your support. Jeep Guy, what do you think about Lakers picking up Walker again? I assume this is Lonnie Walker. I've addressed this more than a handful of times. Lonnie Walker has not played well In the Euro League, he's really struggled to shoot the ball to the point where I'm not entirely sure we see him give up his buyout over there to go. It's about a $400,000 Euro buyout for him to come over, come back to the NBA, and I'm not sure we're going to see that. He might just play out the year overseas. Let's see here. Amazing how Hawks and Bulls are still in the play-in race. Helps to be in the Eastern Conference there. Can you guys explain how Danny didn't know he was helping the Lakers until it was too late? It wasn't that wouldn't have changed things. Danny Ainge has made trades with the Lakers before. He's made multiple trades to help out the Lakers. He's eaten Russell Westbrook's contract to help out the Lakers. So that's, that is what that he's not worried about that part. They didn't tell him. They told him, we just need you to eat Jalen Hood Schifino's contract, and you're going to get a couple seconds if you do it. And that's what he agreed to there. David Schultz, they should do a movie or TV show about this trade deadline, every episode from a different point of view, like Draft Day, keep up to it. I'd watch it. I mean, I've said I want Hard Knocks NBA edition for years here. Henceforth, it's going to be Shams versus Haynes for breaking trade news. Yeah, Mark Stein's still doing work there. Jake Fisher does pretty good work. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if another major insider emerges or not at that point. AJ says, will you guys be at Summer League this year? I will be at Summer League. More details to come on when and where I'll be and what I'll be doing. I'll share that down the line when we can. I don't want to speak for Trevor. I think he's going to try to go for a portion of time for Summer League, but we'll see. You'll have to ask him with that. Let's see here. Lakers to sign Smart. They can't. Smart's probably not going to be bought out too, because he's owed $20 million this year and $20+ million next year. 2-year guys rarely ever get bought out like that. Poor Dennis on his 5th team in 2 years. Yeah. Leak Will says, where do you guys think the Suns go from here? Yeah, the Suns are in a spot where they did okay today, right? They moving out Yusuf Nurkic for 2 guys I think that can play. I think getting in there. I think getting Cody Martin and Vasily Micic. We'll see if Micic sticks or not. But Cody Martin can definitely play, so that's helpful. So I think that's there. Long term, I think Kevin Durant's gonna move this summer, and I think they'll try to retool as best they can around Devin Booker. There. Trevor is doing Lakers Nation stuff now. We traded Trevor back to his original friend. It's like how Reggie Jackson keeps getting traded back to teams he's already been with. Traded Trevor back to Lakers Nation with this. Trade deadline official done. Yeah, we're still waiting on the news of what's happening with this Marcus Smart trade. That may be one that leaks out here. I don't think Clint Capella will get bought out. No, I don't think that's going to be a thing that happens. Klampa, I think we'll see that. He'll stick there. Matthews, Houdin, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support. Unbelievable that you guys, come here and hang out with us and do all this stuff. So we're going to start getting news of waivers. The Thunder have waived Daniel Tice. So Daniel Tice is now available. He was a minimum guy. Any team could sign him. That could be one if the Lakers feel like they need a more experienced big. That would maybe make some sense. That they could do that. A lot of those deals are being what you're seeing now. A lot of the beat writers are reporting now that the major reporters have put the kind of big pieces out there. The beat writers are now going to start putting together the details of these trades. And one of the things that we're hearing is like some of these trades are being roped into big trades. So some of these ones that were 2, 3, 4 team trades may in the end end up being a 4 or 5 or 6 team type trade when we get there with this. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Can Celtics land Doncic in the summer? No, like he's with the Lakers. He's not going anywhere. I mean, presumably not going anywhere. Hey Pete, thanks for hanging out, man. What do we got? Oh, Marvin Bagley is going to Memphis along with Johnny Davis. So this is now strictly a salary clearing deal for the Grizzlies. Maybe Bagley and Davis can play some minor role in Memphis, but that's what that is. That's getting off Marcus Smart's contract. That's exactly what they did. So I will see. What move am I most other than the Luka deal? Yeah, that's a good question. I really kind of like the Brandon Ingram trade. That one, I'm a little less excited just because they're not going anywhere this year. With that one, that's kind of a piece. Very curious to see what the Bucks look like post trade deadline after doing what they did, moving Chris Middleton and all that with everything with that. So you said there was a trade being held up for Butler's resolution. Did that get done? What was it? It got rolled into the Jimmy Butler trade. That was the KJ Martin to the Pistons. That was just the Pistons were holding to see if they needed to do more salary in that. So that's there. Oh, Spurs did De'Aaron Fox. Yeah, that's how crazy this deadline's been. I already kind of that one slipped by that happened. Yeah, that's the one I'm definitely most excited about. And Zach LaVine to the Clippers. So the two major sides on that trade there. So Cavs with DeAndre Hunter. That's a big trade too. There so many big trades. This trade deadline. This was absolutely an incredible spot. Again, Trevor and I will do winners and losers probably tomorrow when we have a little bit more stuff comes out. Here we'll get into a little bit more of winners and losers and who we liked, what they did and what they didn't do. Their Pistons getting Dennis Schroeder for kind of nothing, but renting out the cap space. I like that one quite a bit. I think that was a really solid pickup for them. Do you think OKC goes after Durant this summer? Maybe. Let's see how the playoffs go for the Thunder. If they flame out earlier than expected, then maybe that's kind of how that could play out. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that's where that will go. Yeah, this is a really fair question. Here's what I will say with this DA Brackus, who asks, why is Memphis dumping salary when they're the 2 seed? Marcus Smart is, yes, he's a salary dump, but he has not been playing for them due to injury. Came back yesterday, but he has been out for a significant amount of time, really both years with the Grizzlies. He's missed a lot of time. So that is a salary dump without necessarily losing a lot of production there. Jake LaRavia is a little bit of a loss, but they've got other guys that they believe in can fill that production off the bench with that. So we'll see. With that, yeah. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up myself here so I can go work. I've got a lot of writing to do, a lot of other stuff to work on and figure out here. Look for the buyout preview piece posting on Spot Track here relatively soon. I've got a couple updates to make to it because a couple guys got let go. So we'll make those updates with that. But to this one, to Loose Goose says, can we just extend the deadline for one more day? No, I'm ready for it to be done. I've got a lot of work to do. I need to get to that. Guys, thank you so much for your support, hanging out with us. The live shows, the support we've had on these this entire week has been absolutely bonkers. Both Trevor and I are so thankful for everything. I mean, we had a live show that between live views and post views is now, we're going to probably push by when all is said and done, close to 1 million total views on that show, which is incredible. We can't thank you guys enough for the way you support us and hang out with us here and everything you do to support Front Office Show, Lakers Nation, everything. Thanks for everything, guys. We'll see you next time, probably live tomorrow for Front Office Friday. Trevor and I will figure all that out, watch our socials for the time, everything like that. And yes, absolutely, hit that like button for the hard work. We appreciate that. Helps more people find the show. Thank you, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. And what does Trevor say? And stay safe.